Hey guys, what's up? My name is Juliet. This is a channel that we literally set up today, and by we, I mean me and my beautiful girlfriend, Julia. Basically, I've been on YouTube for a long time. I've seen a lot of drama. My girlfriend, however, hasn't. But nothing has made me really quite upset as the current situation that is going down over Ethan. And
I'm pretty new to YouTube, other than watching, music videos and stuff. I never followed any of it, and then Juliet introduced me to all of it, so I really got introduced to Ethan.
Through frenemies.
Yeah, Ethan and Trisha through frenemies, so that's totally different, I think, perspective, because I don't know as much of the history.
And Frenemies was always a really cool podcast for me because in a lot of ways, Trisha kind of brought a lot of it, really, but the openness of the mental illness, the talking of the mental illness and what it's like for them in particular, I feel like it's really cool, and that's also something they get a lot of, backlash for, but I don't agree with it. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about Ethan and the recent claims of SA.
So Ethan tweeted the following, quote, "I know y'all want me to talk about Trisha, but this whole thing is extremely upsetting and disturbing. I'm still processing it. This is a person who I considered one of my closest friends a week ago, who is now making videos accusing me of SHing her. It's too much." And then he tweeted, quote, "Trisha said I was S-ualizing her in the workplace, which is the textbook definition of SH," unquote. So I think it's really interesting that Ethan is basically admitting by saying that as her boss, it was inappropriate to say sexual things to her.
Yeah, and that's what he was doing. I mean, it sounds exactly like he was admitting what was happening, and it's a little funny to me. Just because that was a criticism of James Charles for a long time.
Oh, yeah, he criticized James Charles for being overly sexual with his employees and stuff. And
admitting it. And admitting it. That's what he's doing, so.
Yeah, and I know that he and Trisha had this whole casual banter thing, but she did repeatedly say in many of these cases that she wanted him to stop. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Exactly, and it's like, what did she joke about besides Tourette's and depression? Which, I mean, okay, those are things. I'm not saying that they aren't, but when you're comparing them to the repeated jokes of her having STDs, her being S-aid, belittling their gender, the fact that they've been attacked in LA multiple times, I'm like, there's just a certain point.
Is it a joke anymore?
Exactly.
And, once the person next to you is saying, I don't want to talk about that, you just got to drop it. And I will say that when Trisha was asked to stop talking about, Tourette's in the way that she was, or making jokes that came off as, really,
inappropriate.
Yeah, especially about Jewish people and things like that. Mm-hmm. She stopped. She did learn, and she apologized, and she was glad to have learned. She said so.
And even in the Frenemies episodes where they would bring in Dr. Drew, it's like getting Ethan to apologize for anything is like pulling teeth. And we're not going to go too in detail about Frenemies in this episode just because we are planning to do basically an entire series on frenemies and breaking down the episodes, what I see wrong with them. So there's that.
A lot of the issues we're talking about were brought up in Trisha's most recent video about her experience with SA, how that was treated and discussed while working with Ethan and H3. And it's worth making note that they did not monetize that video.
All in all, I just think Ethan seems really sensitive. That's another big point I wanted to bring up. And my evidence is that he's said all of his staff, the people who work for him, his crew, quote unquote, they're his fans. And that enough for me is a little cringy. I don't know.
Why would you only hire your fans unless you were scared of getting feedback that might be critical? If you just want yes men around you, arguably brown nosers, people that just want to approve of what you're doing.
It's kind of what it looks like. Huh. Maybe a little.
Sort of looks like that.
Maybe just a little bit. But I'm confused because, doesn't he live in LA? He's been doing this podcast, not frenemies, but the H3 thing for a long time. And if I can just remind everybody how his friendship with Trisha started, he was in a video making fun of Instagram models like Trisha, like Nikita Dragon, and by the way, not getting into it, but he refused to apologize about the comments he made about their body, which, if you don't know, Nikita is a transgender woman, and he posted 2 photos side by side, one pre-transition and one post-op. And to me, I don't know if I would want my photos out there like that if I was transgender. It's just gross. I don't think he should do that.
So when a lot of your career is based on, arguably ridiculing other people, especially women and people in the LGBTQ plus community, maybe you should be able to take criticism about your creative concepts a little bit better. One of the things that he told Trisha, according to her, that he was so upset about was that she had offended Sam, who is a new employee for H3 and the partner of, I don't remember. It doesn't. One of his staff, girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure. Anyway, according to Ethan, it was her idea to do a Q&A segment. And I understand if her feelings were hurt by Trisha's criticism, but that's the responsibility of Ethan to handle privately within his company. As he insists, Trisha is an employee. Sam is an employee. If one employee is offended by another employee, the management is supposed to step in and handle this. They aren't supposed to take sides. They aren't supposed to fight with the people. They're not supposed to bring it up in public. They're supposed to mediate. In this case, he didn't do that. He took Sam's side, although later it sounded like, according to the crew, Sam wasn't actually that upset and the crew wasn't really that upset about it. So it's arguable that Ethan was exaggerating or, according to Trisha, perhaps lying about the crew's feelings.
The whole situation with Ethan telling the crew that Trisha wanted them fired is still weird. Really weird to me because that never happened. The only thing Trisha said, I think, was that she wanted a producer.
Yeah, she wanted someone that would help represent her point of view. And
maybe even just another woman there to keep her safe. Every other person on staff is a man, except for the partners of the men, but they don't know Trisha, they've never heard of them probably, and so how would that not be a stressful, chaotic situation to be in?
Yeah, because Trisha's repeatedly said that they feel unsafe downtown LA, they feel unsafe in public, they have panic attacks when they're around a lot of strangers and feel trapped. And according to Trisha, that at least at some point, they didn't even want Moses coming to recordings. So Trisha felt really uncomfortable. So asking for a producer that could represent them both equally seemed very reasonable.
So if we're taking the names out of the situation, if we're not even looking at who this is, if all we're doing is looking at what's happening, there's a male boss overseeing a queer, minority, disabled employee of his and saying, I'm going to force you to go all the way to downtown LA, where I know it stresses you out, to come film for me. And also, I'm not going to let you take anyone who makes you feel safe, as we're repeatedly triggering you over and over again.
I know that when you're working a normal job, you can't just bring your partner with you like an emotional support animal, but you are working for a family business in this situation, and your partner's literally part of the family. It seems like bringing Moses along should never have been an issue. It also seems like the location of the new studio should have been told to Trisha ahead of time so that they would be prepared. and be able to communicate earlier that they were not going to be comfortable going all the way downtown. Now, I know that Ethan did eventually agree to those terms, but by the time he did, he was already frustrated. You could tell at the beginning of the final episode of Frenemies that he was pissed off before they even started recording, and I think that's what it was about.
Basically, those are our thoughts. We're wrapping up now because it's practically 8 a.m. and we haven't slept yet. I'm sorry if you can hear the birds. We're sitting outside. It's nice. We're gonna fucking smoke a bowl, go to bed, and hopefully there'll be no more drama when we wake up. This is our first video, so I don't know if we did anything, if we missed anything, if we missed over any points. Let us know. Give us some criticisms, because we can actually take them, unlike Ethan. So
yeah, we can actually take the criticism, and I know that there's a billion other things we could say about this, but for a quick little part one, we just had to rant and get some of our feelings out, and you can hear more in our upcoming series where we're going to go through every episode of Frenemies. Ooh, you know you want to listen. Ooh.
And with that, we leave you peace and